We don't need to buy it. We already have it, but we do need to conquer it.
Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Aron Sokol, and this is Parsha Inspired. I'm here with my good friend and guest and inspiration for this podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to the fighter for Jerusalem, the fighter for Geula, the fighter for redemption, for Aliyah, somebody who is one of a kind, Rabbi Mr. Michal Weichbrod. Maybe you can give our listeners a taste of what you think Tisha B'Av videos should be like.
Yeah. Tisha B'Av, not sure how it got to this point. I never bothered doing the research, but somehow it became the movie day, I guess, because, unlike Yom Kippur, Tisha B'Av is a day that you're allowed to use electric. There's no halachas. It's not like Shabbos, and so therefore to pass the time, people, it's become a day where, people watch videos, and of course, good religious Jews are not watching, they're not watching Mission Impossible, they're not watching movies, they're watching, videos made by, at this point, organizations and rabbis and whatnots for inspiration. So it's a day where you watch inspirational films, which is very nice, which is very beautiful. But as we spoke about, the problem is Klal Yisroel kind of lost track as to what days represent which things. And it just became like, anything, pick out anything in the Torah, and it's a good subject to talk about, We have the same thing when it comes, obviously, to Parshas Shalach, which is the sin of the Meraglim, and like we spoke about I think we spoke about this in a podcast we did, if I remember correctly, where rabbis will try to choose out like the end of the parsha, whatever, something about lashon hara or something that's not the ikar, the core of the parsha, which is the sin of the Meraglim, which is Jews not wanting to go to Eretz-Yisroel. So Tisha B'Av became something very similar to this idea, which is we will watch videos about obviously the last few years, a lot of October 7th videos about the struggles of Jews with the war and the hostages. There's the Chafetz Chaim Heritage Foundation, where they they'll make videos about lashon hara, and also a lot of Jews will talk a lot about the idea that sinas chinam destroyed the Beis Hamikdash. There's a lot to talk about that. Whatever the video is, there's all kinds of films that are made now. Every year more and more people are making films. A lot of organizations are making films to raise money for their organization, and they're just going to make a film about whatever happens to be the hottest topic for the Jewish people at that time. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with any of that. They should be making videos, inspirational films. They could be fundraisers, charge the people, raise the money for the organizations. They're all doing amazing work, all these organizations. But the thing that the Jewish people are losing track of is what Tisha B'Av is and what we should be focusing on. A film about October 7th, or a film about lashon hara, or a film even about sinas chinam, or Ahavas Yisrael, whatever it might be, they're all really, really amazing stuff, and some of them might even be somewhat connected to Tisha B'Av, and all that is great. But the main focus of what Tisha B'Av is, which is really contemplating and regretting and rectifying the sins and the issues that we have in Klal Yisrael, which is what Tisha B'Av is all about, which is the destruction of the actual Beis Hamikdash and needing to rebuild the Beis Hamikdash, which is the exile out of Eretz Yisrael and needing to return to Eretz Yisrael. The Chet of the Meraglim, which is Jews not trusting enough in Hashem to return to Eretz Yisrael because the problems there are too big and the giants there are too strong, and all the good stuff. That needs to be the focus of Tisha B'Av. And watching a film about lashon hara is fantastic. But if you're thinking about lashon hara, and then when somebody brings up the Beis Hamikdash, you say, okay, that's Mashiach, whatever. That's cool, that's beautiful, that's fine. But we got to focus on like the stuff we can actually handle nowadays, which is some of the other issues, whatever it might be, guarding your eyes and that stuff like that. Again, it's diverting the attention from what actually Tisha B'Av is about, and it's uncomfortable for the Jewish people to talk about this because, again, as we always talk about, Jews have. It happens to be that Jews have a very uncomfortable feeling when it comes to the responsibility of actually having to bring the Geula, create the Geula, build the Beis Hamikdash, coming back to Eretz Yisrael, and they'd rather not talk about it. It's called Beyond the Wall, because the reason it's called that is because people, they get to Eretz-Yisroel, they show up to the wall, the kotel, and you know, and it's like, wow, we're here, we're by the kotel, and it's beautiful, and Gedaven there, and it's the site of the Beis Hamikdash and all that. The reason that there is still a mosque sitting at the center of the Har Bayis is, again, people don't like to hear this, but it's because the Jewish people, the secular, and of course, even more so, unfortunately, the responsibility is on the religious people who know what needs to be done, who claim to yearn for the Beis Hamikdash, and they don't demand it, not in the slightest. They don't demand the Beis Hamikdash. They don't demand the Har Bayis. They don't demand that's something that that's not it's not an option. It's a must. Like every single from Jew, especially in Eretz Yisrael, should be making a very simple demand. We do not vote for you unless you can promise us that you will fight to get that Beis Hamikdash built on the Har Bayis. And to a lot of people, this seems like some sort of crazy fantasy. But this is real life, and that's something we can actually do and demand. And we are the first generation of Jews. Maybe not the first. I mean, I guess you can say that this started in 67 or whatever. But overall, we are first, second, third generation of Jews who can actually demand this and actually get this done on a real level, on a political level. And the fact that there is 0.0001% of Jews who actually care and actually are doing anything to try to get that Beis Hamikdash built it's a very sad thing, and we're never going to have that Beis Hamikdash unless the Jewish people actually realize that you need to do this. This is real life. This is not a fantasy.
In 1967, when the Jews captured Temple Mount, the entire world was certain we're going to run up on the mountain and build the third temple. There was no doubt in the world. And the first thing we did was create the Jewish Heritage Foundation for the Western Wall. That is, there's the heritage of exile, the heritage of not having ownership. How do you see this video impacting Klal Yisrael?
We get very, very blunt. We get very, very straightforward. The film is not necessarily going to be politically correct. It's probably going to make a lot of people very uncomfortable, and that was the goal of it, because this responsibility is very uncomfortable for Jews, both in Eretz Yisrael and especially Jews in the exile. Jews love to pick out like singular midrashim, out of hundreds of thousands of midrashim, they like to pick out, the one that makes some sort of reference to the Beis Hamikdash coming from the sky, but they'll ignore the entirety of Tisha B'Av, which is, the Nevi'im, and how much they talk about the things that need to take place. The fact is, when David HaMelech wanted to build the Beis Hamikdash, he didn't lock himself in a room and daven with all his might. I mean, he did that too, but he also went out, found the place with Shmuel Hanavi. He found the place where the Beis Hamikdash needs to be built, and he bought it, because that's what you need to do. We don't need to buy it; we already have it, but we do need to conquer it. And again, it's not going to happen itself. So to hide from this and just say, we usher to go on the Har Bayis, everything related to the Har Bayis is usher, in which case we have to wait for Mashiach. I mean, that's a fairy tale way to look at it. Or you can look at it, well, just like there are many aspects of our religion where we have questions, we're not sure how to do certain things. So we have Chachamim, we have Rabbanim, and we go through the halachos and we try to figure it out, and we come up with safeguards, with fences, be careful with this, but you don't abolish mitzvos. You don't get rid of half the Torah because figuring out how to do it is challenging or uncomfortable. We are going to need to go on the Har Bayis to build the Beis Hamikdash. That's just a fact. And the sooner the Jewish people understand that, the sooner we can get the process started. Of course, some people are going to get very upset at mentioning half the things we mentioned in the film, because again, the film is about the most uncomfortable topic in the Jewish world, which is Gula, and so it's going to be uncomfortable. But we're hoping it's going to start some conversation.
Michal, thank you so much. May this year, this Tisha B'Av be celebrated. Like the prophet says that the fast of the 5th will turn into a celebration. Thank you so much.